Well, first tonight, the religious extremist who used Twitter to encourage terrorist attacks from his home in Nottingham. Today, Shahpal, who's originally from Kashmir, has been jailed for 5.5 years. Now, Shahpal published calls for people who insulted Islam to be murdered. He also tweeted support for attacks on a French magazine and a teacher. Well, our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball has more.
Shahpal used social media to incite lethal violence. He called for the immediate beheading of anyone who insulted his religion, driven, the judge said, by an extreme Muslim ideology. Shahpal was arrested at his home here in Hyson Green after tweeting support for a political group in Pakistan, a group that had called for the killing of people it accused of blasphemy. Shahpal was making a call to arms using simple social media messages which he sent over 2 weeks. It was back in the autumn of 2020, a time of heightened tension, the judge said, and public alarm, particularly in France. It was the day after this terrorist attack in Paris when Shahpal sent several tweets praising a man who targeted the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, where 11 people had been murdered in another attack 5 years earlier. Shahpal also praised the killer of this teacher, Samuel Paty, as brave as a lion, and he posted a graphic picture of Mr. Paty's severed head. The teacher had been accused of showing blasphemous cartoons in a class about freedom of speech. Today, Birmingham Crown Court heard that Shahpal was sorry and ashamed. His barrister said he made a mistake because he didn't understand social media. Shahpal said he was simply retweeting other people's posts to get more social media followers. But tonight, he's beginning a prison sentence for encouraging acts of terrorism.
Jeremy's with me in the studio now. And Jeremy, this isn't the first time, is it, that we've heard about social media being used for terrorism offences?
No, it's not, and that's because modern technology is making these crimes so much easier. That's why it's taken so seriously by the courts. And you might remember another case a few years ago in Sutton in Ashfield, a man called Adil ul-Haq. A young extremist was in his bedroom organising travel plans for Islamic State fighters. More recently, we heard about Hisham Chowdhury, who was making IS recruitment videos from the safety of his home in Great Glen. And social media is often being used by far-right terrorists as well these days. We actually heard about that just before today's sentencing, because a man called Vaughan Dolphin was jailed by the very same judge for making guns and explosives at his home over in the West Midlands. And he was caught boasting about that on white supremacist chat rooms.
What on earth can they do then to tackle this?
Well, there is a big row at the moment about plans for a tougher new law, which is called the Online Safety Bill. Now, a big part of that involves encrypted messages and new powers for those to be scanned for dangerous content. But that has prompted huge opposition from social media companies like WhatsApp, and they got together the other week to actually issue a formal warning that this could lead to more routine indiscriminate surveillance of personal messages. So, you know, there's a fine line here. Yeah. And of course, none of this would have affected the sentencing today of Shahpal because his tweets weren't encrypted. They were all public. Everyone could see them.
Yeah, no, you're right. Jeremy, thanks very much indeed for that.